step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use every comment, hate that makes my fuel. Gather up my energy and boom, I hear them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with, giving my blood so I am relentless.
All right, this is Keep Hammering Collective with Katie Knight. Can you believe you're here?
I can't. Thank you so much for having me. It's been so fun. Great training day and then ending it with this.
Yeah, I mean, as we were just saying, I'm better at training than talking.
Oh yeah, that's like the comfort zone, running, shooting, lifting.
Yeah.
And this not so much, but it's still fun. It's good to sit down and have a conversation.
Oh, well, I'm super thankful you're here. I've been following you for a while, and I know I think, you know, anybody would attest. I'm sure I mentioned it to Tanner, but this was like this week because I had Kat Bradley, then you, and I'm like, I got to be on my A game for these girls.
Yeah, she's a badass.
Kat was good, but like you, I didn't know if I'd be able to even lift with you. I'm like, I'm not sure how this is going to go. This might not go very well. So I was nervous.
We got it done.
I was nervous. What do you think of the lift, run, shoot routine?
It's basically my normal routine. The shooting's a bonus. And now I'm going to do that a lot more with the bow that I got. So, but yeah, otherwise I'd be doing that on a daily basis, lifting, running every day, twice a day, 6 days a week. Yeah.
So people will they'll look at you and they'll be like, oh, how is she in such good shape? It's just basically, well, obviously you got good genetics, but you work your ass off.
Yeah. Hard work.
Every day, right? Do you train every day?
Every day, twice a day, 6 days a week. Sunday's completely off. Rest day. I walk the dog. That's about it. But I was born, bred, and corn fed in Iowa. It's just like that hard work mentality. Those people there, that's what they do all day. So kind of grew up like that. Grew up in sports. So there's no excuses. You work hard and you get it done.
And so now you've went and what would you say your specialty is as an athlete? I know you said you played, hockey and different things in high school. Then you tried to pursue, I think you tried out for the American team, you said, for hockey.
Yep.
And so how'd you end up to where you're at?
Yeah. So after college, I kind of, I got into CrossFit. I drank the Kool-Aid, was all in on that, did some big team comps, had a lot of fun. And then as we were talking, my first ultra marathon that I ran was the rim to rim to rim, which isn't a race, but it's 50 miles. It's got a lot of climbing.
Yeah,
as you know, you've done it.
It's hard.
So that kind of hooked me in the running game and the ultra game. And because I have a strength background, combining endurance and strength and finding obstacle course racing, the ultra distance was the perfect mix. So I would say that's my specialty, is running for a long time and throwing strength in there. So heavy carries, sandbag carries, rigs, all the obstacles, and being able to do that for 24 hours. So
that's impressive.
It's a niche category, but man, it works.
It's impressive. It feels like you were designed exactly for that,
Pretty much.
Because you do have endurance. Because, I would say that the rim to rim to rim, what did you like about that? Just the suffering and pushing?
It was the suffering. So I like to push, every endurance race I go try out and do, I like to see what my mind and body can do. So it was hey, I've never ran more than a half marathon. Let's go try to climb in the Grand Canyon. So it was definitely the suffering, and then just the beauty, the scenery. Never seen the Grand Canyon before, so when I was in the bottom of it, that's when the sun comes up, and I was like, wow, this is magnificent. You can't beat this. And, being able to run out on the trails, it's you get to see that beauty every day, so it's worth it. It's worth the suffering. Like we were saying yesterday on the top of the, at the monument, that was beautiful.
Oh, I know. It's just I don't, you couldn't say, would you rather be anywhere else? And I'd just be like, no, I like suffering up this hill and being here to see how this beautiful sunset. It's that's, to me, that's life.
I love it.
Did you see animals in the Grand Canyon? Did you see any sheep?
I don't think I saw anything. Although when I did the Spartan Ultra World Championships, the 24-hour race, a porcupine crossed my path.
Oh.
Never seen a porcupine in real life. And
really?
It was massive. And I was like, I don't actually know what the protocol is. Just stay away or what? And that was at 2 a.m. So maybe I imagined it. Who knows? But
Do you know those quills shoot out?
No. So that's why I was like, I'm going to stay right here. And it can just like, it stayed on the path for a little bit.
They don't shoot out.
Oh, they don't? I would believe it though. I'm gullible. You can tell me anything.
I think that's what maybe I thought when I was a kid, or maybe somebody told me that. So, you could just envision those quills sticking and then shooting. And be a pretty good design
They
for
don't
defense
shoot
for
out.
them.
Do you know what they do?
No, they just poke you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I know dogs get into them and it
Yeah.
can be quite a process to get those out of dogs.
Yeah, so I stayed far away.
Good thinking. Yeah, that was probably a good approach. Hey, want to try one of these?
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cool.
So it's a ketone IQ.
Yeah.
Let's see what you think.
Delicious. Yeah. Love it. Love it.
I know it's like.
Now my brain works.
Yeah, I know. I am totally up to speed now. It's better than I used to like getting Slurpees when I was a kid. Definitely better than a Coke Slurpee.
Yep.
So now the level of discussion and intelligence is just going to skyrocket after this, because it's got IQ in the name.
Right. Exactly. Combo's going to go deeper. We're more intelligent now.
Do you competing against the women in the events that you do? What gives you that edge? Do you think? Just like, what gives you that? Why do you win?
I would have to say like just mental grit, like the ability just to keep going, keep pushing. Like anything in a race, especially that's 24 hours, anything can go wrong. It's not a matter of like if something's going to go wrong, it's what. So what this race is going to like hold you back from wanting to keep going or wanting to quit. Because 12 hours in is when they say the race really starts. So you're sitting at midnight and you still got a long time. And then the sun comes up, you still have 6 hours.
Right, so explain the 24-hour event. What are you doing during that 20
so
time?
in the 24-hour race, there's Spartan Ultra races, and then there's the 24-hour for World's Toughest Mudder. And you're running laps. So World's Toughest is always 5-mile loops, 20 obstacles per lap. And for 24 hours or as long as you want to go. And then for Spartan, it just depends. Like I've done a 24-hour race in Telluride, which was 6.7 mile loops, starting at 9,000 feet elevation, climbing to 11 each lap. So that, that's pretty brutal, but that's what you're doing. The obstacles range from crawling over things, heavy carries, rigs, whatever they want to throw at you. And World's Toughest has water obstacles, so they make it even harder. It's freezing cold water. It's like getting in the cold plunges we did last night. Every lap. So you submerge.
Really?
Yeah. So
your head has to go under.
Yep.
And then how long? You don't have to stay in for any amount of time?
No. So like you would there's a cage crawl. So you're upside down. You're crawling on your back along a cage and you're in the water. And then there's like points where you have to go all the way under and keep going. And that's probably like a huge pit. So.
They just try to make you as miserable as possible.
Yeah, like what can go wrong? So as I was saying, it's just like that willingness to keep going and keep pushing because things have gone wrong. I've gotten hypothermia like I did last year at World's Toughest. I've lost both big toenails like during the race. So I would say just that mental grit is my advantage.
There's other women out there that are willing to do this.
Yeah.
Same mentality.
Yep.
And they push you.
Yeah. So when you have, girls chasing you the whole race or you're trying to catch somebody, that motivates me too. So to win, to get, there's no better feeling than winning. So having all that hard work you've done for the past year and being on that podium just feels good. Yeah.
I was asking because, if I talk to you for a few minutes, I can tell that training is a big part of your life. You just love the grind. And I was asking if you love the grind or to compete more.
Yeah.
And it's, I think you said that winning proves that the grind paid off.
Yeah.
But you still, you're not thinking about winning every day when you get to the gym. It's just what you do. Is that right?
Right. Yeah. It's just part of my life. It's like, essentially it's my full-time job. So it's putting in that work every day, all day, twice a day, and then letting those results pay off in the end when it comes to like competitions.
Yeah, it's impressive. And then how has the business part of that been for you? Have you been, so you're marketable, obviously.
I try to be.
have you turned that into business opportunities?
Yeah, so there's brands have come along during my journey and wanted to work with me. So it's finding like a really good fit and what like just naturally works in my life. So like I don't usually partner with brands that like it doesn't feel natural. Like if I'm gonna use it and post about it anyway, those are the brands that have come along that I just love. And there's been some since like the very beginning that have stuck with me. And I love that. So there's been a lot of business opportunities that way. And then, like I said, I have my own online training company. So having people want to be trained by me to do these kind of races or just, look good and feel healthy and strong. That means a lot. So that has helped my, training business as I win these races, as I work hard, as I train, that's come into, exactly what I've been wanting to do my whole life.
Yeah. And so you like the training piece because why? Helping people make positive changes or
Yeah.
what do you like about it?
So I've worked at big CrossFit boxes where like I've helped people get PRs on Olympic lifts, things like that. And that's super exciting. And then as I was telling you, I transitioned over to corporate health and wellness. So working for big tech companies and training their employees. And being able to see somebody fall in love with fitness, learn how to do a squat for the first time, that's really what it's about for me. So it's like helping people realize that like, being healthy and fit and strong, especially for women, is really important. And it just like changes their life. It changes how they feel about themselves, their confidence, everything. So
do you think that that's been more of a focus lately? Or because it's like I don't know. I mean, it feels like training has changed over time.
Yeah.
We talked about Courtney a lot, and she's like kind of broken barriers for what's possible. And it feels like it's that strong, fit, athletic woman image has been changing. And now it feels like we're there now. For your clients, how much of it is it men versus women?
It's kind of a mix. So most of the men I get want to do Spartans and Tough Mudders and races. I do have some female clients that want to as well. But for the most part, like women want to just like feel good and look good and be strong. There's something the mentality that comes along with that just like changes their whole life. Like I was
Confidence.
saying. Yeah. So, it has been a shift. Like I've had a lot of clients that are like, I don't want to lift a weight. I don't want to get bulky. And I'm like, listen, or I don't want to look like the CrossFitters. I was like, that's going to take years and a lot of eating and a lot of lifting. You're good. Let's just get you strong. Let's get you to feel good that, you can do daily activities. You can lift things up. You can move a couch by yourself. You don't need a man. Yeah.
Didn't you put up that clip, didn't you?
Yeah. It was like Joe Rogan's clip. I like a woman that can move a couch, help move a couch.
What did he say? Sturdy?
Sturdy. Oh, yeah. I've been called sturdy basically my whole racing career because I get to the start line. I don't look like an ultra runner.
Yeah.
And so I always get mostly from men like, you run ultras or like, you don't run ultras. And I told you the joke I always give them like, well, watch me and then I'll bench press you at the end. So
I know. I'll
just
tell
got to
you.
give it back to him a little bit.
I don't know hold on. Sorry. Benching. I mean, I haven't seen too many women with like shoulder veins in their shoulders. I was like telling Tanner,
Jealous of my veins.
I go totally. I love, but yeah, get these veins in your shoulder. So yeah, you definitely don't look like the normal ultra runner,
No.
but it's like, to me, when I see it, it's just a testament to hard work and sacrifice. And because it's hard for men to hold muscle. If a man trains, you could train for years, you take off a month and it's just like, what the fuck? So when I see you, it's like, that's work.
That's hard work. Yeah.
It's hard not to respect that. I mean, so I love it. I was just, you hear that with women, they don't want to get big, right? Or they want to be toned, I think is what they say. But yeah, to get big, there's a lot of guys who can never get big. So the girls don't really have to worry about it, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't always had muscle. So when I started back, like before CrossFit in 2016, I was just pretty like lean. I just ran a lot, not a lot of muscle, not a lot of definition. So, from then until now, like I put on a lot of muscle mass and I'll usually lose most of it come like ultra season. So like into the fall and the 24-hour races just kind of, eat your muscle. And so I'll go through a strength building phase from about January to April, where it's a lot of lifting, not as much endurance, just to get strong again.
Where do you think you perform best? More lean or more muscle?
Depends on the competition.
Yeah.
When I do ultra distance, it's definitely more lean. So like I'll go into world's toughest at like 140 or maybe even a little below. And then like the rest of the year, like I sit at like what I feel like is healthy, like at 150. Yeah.
Yeah. That's, what were you at? Like you said in high school, you were more lean.
Yeah.
And
yeah, definitely. It was probably like in the 120s.
And what was your sports again? I know hockey.
Yeah,
what was the other ones?
High school varsity sports were swimming and diving, mostly diving. My sister was the diving coach, so that was fun. Softball was another big one, softball and ice hockey, and then track. But yeah, ice hockey is where I've always loved. Grew up playing with the boys, like I told you. That kind of probably added to where my mentality sits for races. You got to be tough. There's no room for being weak because you're a girl out there playing with a bunch of boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you've made changes. Who has inspired you along the way? I mean, who do you look up to? And it's like, because I know in bow hunting, I have guys who I followed as a kid, but who inspires you to keep working hard?
Well, I mean, like, because I love strength and endurance, like looking up to people like Courtney, like for the, the running aspect, like that's, who I would dream of being like and competing and running. And then in CrossFit, it's like big CrossFitters, but I was also telling you, like, it's my mom as well. So she's in her 60s. She still does CrossFit. I do CrossFit with her when I go home and visit. She's strong. She bikes. Like, that's just like the life that I want to live. So when I'm in my 60s, 70s, I'm still doing all the same things I'm doing today. So that's an inspiration, is just to keep working hard. And like both my sisters have had 4 or 5 kids. They're still strong. They're, they're pretty jacked.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see. So I definitely look up to that. So I'm blessed to have, a very fit, active family to look up to.
Yeah. It sounds like it. And so with regard to your sponsors or your business, how has that evolved? And it's like, because to me, you seem very marketable. I mean, we talked about merchandise.
Yeah.
How is those partners, are they helping with that vision that you have for yourself?
Yeah, like I said, I usually bring brands on board that see my vision. We vibe well together, and I help them grow. They help me grow. So that's the goal.
Yeah.
And that's definitely, I started like my social media it must have been 21. Yeah.
What?
And
you just started
in February,
it then?
I was at 3,000 followers. And I grew it all myself. Yeah.
How come no social media?
I just wasn't interested. I just wanted to train and kind of live life without having to be on my phone. And then as I started to race bigger races and just being able to share my story and hopefully inspire others, I got more like involved with Instagram. And so since then, it's just like it's grown, and it's been really fun. And you can kind of have a little bit more of an outreach. So I've liked that part of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's great for connecting with people.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I would have known about you without social media.
Right. Exactly.
Right? So you wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have got to have that good training day yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm excited to announce a partnership with Ice Barrel Cold Plunges. You guys know that I make it a daily ritual to jump into the ice bath before a long run just to get my head right. And Ice Barrel has provided a cost-effective solution for your cold plunge needs. Ice baths are one of the fastest ways I reset my body because it releases all the endorphins in the most natural way. I like to suffer, and I can tell you, once you start using an Ice Barrel cold plunge, you'll like the cold-induced suffer as well. Cold therapy reduces inflammation and pain by constricting blood flow to muscles. By temporarily reducing nerve activity, cold therapy reduces swelling and muscle spasms. Get yours at icebarrel.com and use code CAM for $125 off. Hey guys, you want to be as smart as famed neuroscientist Andrew Huberman, PhD at Stanford? Well, sadly, that's probably not going to happen. But I did find something that can help, and that's HVMN Ketone IQ. I actually downed one right before reading this, so if I sound decent, it's probably why. because I'm not sure if you guys realize how much brain power podcasting takes, but whatever I can take that will at least make me sound smarter, I'm in. Ketone IQ is a clean energy boost without sugar or caffeine. Ketone IQ increases your blood ketones. I'm not on a keto diet, but by taking Ketone IQ, I can achieve the desired focus and energy for explosive workouts that ketones typically provide to those in ketosis. You can find Ketone IQ at your local Sprouts or online at hvmn.com. Use code CAM, C-A-M, for 20% off your first order. And so what's your goals? Where do you see yourself headed?
Yeah, kind of like we talked about on the run, is I want to be involved in like the hybrid sport right now. So doing strength events, endurance events, win a couple more world's toughest. That'd be nice. And then as I get older into like my late 30s, I'd love to just take on like sky racing and ultra running. So
really,
yeah, I'd love to just travel around and do the hardest endurance races in the entire world. I've already done some of them. I was telling you about the swim run world championship one. Yeah. So like to be able to go do that and like complete and finish like some of the hardest things.
Like what would be the hardest? What do you have like in your mind? What's the hardest endurance event?
The Norseman triathlon's a pretty big one. And then like doing the Ironman in Kona would be really cool.
What's the first one you said, the Norseman?
Yeah. So that's like the hardest triathlon that's, people talk about all the time.
Well, how come? Why is it hard?
It's the terrain, just everything is pretty dang brutal. And then like jumping into things like I'd love to do Western States, Hard Rock 100, like that would be my goal in like, 5 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your body can change, but your mentality is going to stay the same.
Yeah.
So you have what it takes.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of getting the train. So the more miles and training, like maybe 100-mile weeks, of course, you'd go down in size a little bit, but I just don't see, I think the mentality you have to win, that's the hardest thing. That's what people can't train.
Yeah.
You either have, to me, either you have that heart of a champion or you don't.
Yeah.
You can tweak your body. You can look at, I've seen a lot of people in shape who you can't, actually, to be truthful, you can't judge much on just looking at somebody.
Right. Yeah. We talked about that's all show, no go, right?
Sometimes.
You see that on Instagram a lot.
Sometimes, but I just know, and there's a lot of events where you might have, they're probably going to be great. Just because they look like they should be great doesn't mean they're going to be great.
No.
So it's like, to me, that point is like you have the mentality to win, and then it's just a matter of you build your body for certain events, for certain challenges to be the best in that one thing. So I think with ultra, you would just tweak your training and I would think still be right up in the top.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I want to watch
I would
that.
hope so. But it's usually like the mind that goes first. So like when people ask me what's the hardest about that swim run world championship or running for 24 hours, it's like your body, as long as there's no broken bones, it'll do what you tell it to. So it's usually the mind that goes first. And then if you can keep that strong, you can just keep going. Like we talked about, you're going to pass out before you die. So I keep that in mind.
And you know what? How many people have you seen pass out?
Exactly. No, I don't think any.
Humans, they quit way before that shit's happening. Generally, there's a few. I worry about Courtney sometimes pushing so hard, but in general, no, nobody's pushing that much. So that mentality, what's that? Is there a double triathlon? Do they call it Ultraman? Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, yeah. That's the Kona one.
Oh,
so that's the double one. Yeah, that's the one that's out in Hawaii.
And it's called Ultraman?
Yeah. I think so. I think we were talking about the same thing.
I don't know. I know they have
because it's the double distance of everything. Yeah.
Right. I know I've heard Rich Roll talk about it.
Yeah.
I think he did it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I had a professor in college who actually did it twice. I think he DNF'd the first time and then finished the second, which is just so cool.
Yeah, and you were also weren't you talking about Leadman?
Oh yeah, so next year I really want to jump into Leadman, which is the Leadville 100 run and then also Leadville 100 mountain bike race. So back-to-back weekends. We talked about you get like a huge hatchet. That's all I want. So like if I could just complete that and get that, big hatchet, that'd be pretty cool. It'd be a fun day.
And I mean, you bike a lot too, so.
Yeah, so usually when like my mileage goes up for running, kind of just to keep the pounding off my body, because I'm a little bit heavier for an ultra runner, is to bike. So it's biking and climbing a ton, either on my single speed or going out for a 3-hour ride, climbing, 4,000 or 5,000 feet on my road bike.
And you're in Boulder?
In Boulder, Colorado, yeah.
So do you feel like that high elevation training pays off in the races?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you come down to sea level, which is where most of my races happen, except for, in Telluride and mountain towns, but it pays off a ton. So you feel like you can breathe, like the air's a little bit, thinner, you can breathe it in. So
how was it here? Because this is low. How was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was pretty good. The heat was hard, and it got hot.
Yeah.
So I jumped in the creek.
I know that river felt good. I bet. Yeah. I dipped my hat in there, but yeah, that's like my go-to on a hot run across town. I'm thinking of that river because it just cools down the core. And then we came here, we had steak, and but before we had steak, we did the cold plunge, and oh my God! By that time, I'd cooled down.
It was cold. Those ice baths were cold. I don't know how many bags of ice she put in, but she did a good job.
Yeah, I mean, there's no ice in there, but God dang, that water was freezing. Yeah, it's man, I just can't believe. I mean, as disciplined as you are, I shouldn't be surprised how good a shot you were.
Yeah.
But to get out there at 111 yards and do what you did, that's impressive.
That's right. That's the record. I was like, I have to get that.
I'm not,
I'll be out there all day before I give up.
No, it didn't take all day. You're a great shot. But so you've hunted a little bit before?
Yep. So my brothers both hunt back in Iowa, mostly deer, but we're going to go get a bear, right?
I want to. Yeah. If you're down, I'm down.
Oh, of course.
We're going to go bear hunting?
Of course. Uh-huh.
What do you like about shooting a bow? I mean,
so like I was telling you, I did the tactical games last weekend, and there's something about just like shooting and then when you hit the target, it's so rewarding. So like you put an effort, you make corrections, things like that, and then when you finally get it, it's just like it's like being on top of the podium. Like nothing feels better. So I couldn't imagine hitting your target, hitting the animal. That just has to be a different feeling.
Yeah, and also the bringing the meat home.
Yeah.
I think there's something powerful about being a provider.
Yeah.
So when you can sit down to a meal and it's an animal that you killed, you processed,
right?
It's in your freezer, you cook it, and then it's just like to me that's the human existence is reliant on providers.
Oh yeah.
And I think there's something powerful. And then if you could go up and the bear hunt is like I explained to you, it's a great first bow hunt because it's, how I like to hunt them with new bow hunters is on the ground close, get that. I mean, I think there's something special about being close to a wild animal.
Yeah. But
with bear specifically is identifying that it's a male as opposed to a female because most people look at a bear is a bear.
Oh yeah. That's what I would think.
Right. But there's little signs to look for that differentiate the two sexes. And so we want to kill old male bear. And it's fun just to be there with somebody and just watch the emotions and the ups and downs and the excitement. And then when it comes down to crunch time and pulling that bow back and actually mean something.
Right.
Because practice is practice.
Right.
That means something, but not like killing an animal.
Yeah. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
Well, we're going to do it.
And then it makes sense why you climb all these mountains and carry heavy weight up. We carried this big GoRuck sandbag up, being able to haul that meat out, haul that animal out.
Yeah. It's all part of it.
That's going to be hard.
It's all part of it. And as I explained, it's like the endurance training that we do. It's, most people go on a hunt and after the first couple of days, they're pretty fatigued because the mountains will do that.
Yeah.
And, I feel like, you start off at 100%, which each day that goes by, if you haven't trained for it, your ability's going down, your decision making is going down. And I've seen plenty of guys where, if you're on a mountain hunt and they're fatigued, they know where they should go to give themselves the highest opportunity of success, but instead they take shortcuts because they're tired.
Yeah.
So, and when you take shortcuts, you're going to screw up. The wind's going to give you up. The animals might see you. But yeah, so it's just, I mean, I feel like with your training, you're built for just enduring. And then on a hunt, you just have to, it's based on the decisions you make.
Yeah.
And looking at things objectively, not having your physical condition weigh in on that.
Right.
But,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I've just seen a lot of people fail because, and people don't like to admit it, that they should have worked harder.
Right.
But that's just the way it goes.
That's usually how it is with everything.
Yeah. Yeah. You, one thing that was pretty impressed too is like you shot my bow. So I don't know.
It's a heavy bow.
It's pretty impressive how ambidextrous you are.
Yeah.
You know, because yesterday you said you're left eye dominant. So that means, okay, we got to shoot a left-handed bow, but you do most things right-handed.
Right. Yeah. The only things I do left-handed are shooting, bow, rifle, and playing hockey. So.
In your tactical games, did you shoot left-handed?
Yep.
Oh, you did. Okay.
But I used all my brother's guns since I was back in Iowa, and it's set up for a righty. So that was like a little tricky. But I'm so left eye dominant that I can't shoot the other way. So
yeah. You mentioned your siblings. Did you guys push each other growing up? Like, did you compete against each other?
Oh yeah. So I'm one of 6. I'm the bottom. So I'm 5 out of 6. And when I was growing up, we're all 2 years apart. And so my sister's right above me. And because like both my parents coached us in most sports, like my dad always coached me in hockey, I always played 2 grade levels up, starting when I was like in probably 2nd or 3rd grade. So always 2 grade levels up in softball and hockey, and basically any sport that was a team sport. And so I think that also made me who I am today because I had to push harder. Like, playing with, when I'm 8 and everybody's 10, that's a big difference with development and everything. For sure. So I kind of had to step up my game because there was no excuses for being younger.
What would your dad, sometimes you probably got beat up a little bit, right?
Oh,
Older
yeah,
kids.
for sure.
What would your dad tell you?
Especially in hockey too, when I'm like a smaller athlete out there. But yeah, just suck it up. I grew up in a very suck it up mentality household. So work harder.
No excuses.
No excuses. There was never any excuse for it.
So how come he coached hockey? Did he love hockey growing up?
Yeah, so he played hockey. Both my brothers played hockey, and then me and my sister right above me played hockey.
Is hockey big in Iowa?
Not super big. That's why I played with all the boys growing up. There wasn't all women's teams. You get into like Minnesota, and then East Coast is more popular. There's women's travel teams, things like that. But yeah, so like if you're gonna. You have to check boys. You'll start fights with them, things like that. Like I spent a lot of time in the penalty box. Like I was telling you. Yeah. My dad's favorite story that he always loves to tell is I was in high school. I think I was a freshman, and I always played defense. So when you're playing defense and they're skating at you, you find the right moment to step up.
Oh, you said you played
lefty. And,
right. Okay. Yeah.
So like you find that moment to step up and check and take the puck away. So when I did that one game, it was right next to the other team's box. So when I hit him, he fell into the box. And so he got out and he's like super embarrassed and he's mad. So he starts coming at me, starts swinging. So we start getting in a fight.
Really?
And I found like he fell forward and I took his jersey like they do in the movies and threw it over his head just to embarrass him even more. And we both got thrown in the penalty box. And I was just so mad because it's like, he started this with me, right? And my dad at that point, he wasn't my coach in high school. And so he was working the penalty box, and he said, I got in the penalty box, and he's like, I've never heard anybody, man or woman, curse and say every word under God's green earth before. So he's just like, yeah, it was me, because I was just so angry that I got the penalty. So he loves telling that story because it was pretty funny. And like my whole team's cheering, like everybody's like, they're loving it when he flipped over the board. So
I bet. So yeah, I mean, you can't act through a competitive spirit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that says a lot right there. That's probably why your dad you said your dad loves that story.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He loves sharing it.
Yeah. Because I mean, that in a nutshell, that explains you pretty much. Would you say?
I would say so.
Yeah. It's just, I just didn't anticipate hockey would be big in Iowa, but Yeah, because out here, I don't think anybody plays hockey.
No, West Coast is not near as popular. It's more like Midwest and the East Coast. East Coast
Yeah.
is huge, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's kind of like, it's weird because lacrosse is big back east, and then
Yeah.
out here, not a lot.
Yeah, we didn't have lacrosse, so.
No?
No.
What was your was hockey your favorite in high school? But you said you dove too. I didn't. What was that about?
Yeah, so swimming and diving. I didn't love getting up at 4 a.m. and swimming every morning. So I was like, I'm gonna dive because they practice after. So I would actually go in the morning. I'd stop to go in the morning and swim, and then I would dive in the afternoon. And so yeah, my sister was the swim and dive coach when I was in high school. So that made it fun.
Was she good?
She was a good diver, yeah.
And what did she go to college to do it, or how?
No, she didn't go to college to do it, but she like made state almost every year, placed there. Yeah.
What was your go-to dive?
I liked a forward 1.5 with a twist. It just looks pretty.
Really?
Yeah.
And
So you do a flip, you twist, and then you do a pretty dive.
Yeah. How do you get good at that? Just practice?
Just practice.
Just over and over?
Yeah.
Do you guys ever practice like in like tumbling or
Yeah,
like
and like foam pits and stuff.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I never did. I mean, a lot of the divers grew up as gymnasts. I was never a gymnast. So it was just like, you keep going, you smack, you do it again. You know, if you hit the water hard. And you did all the time too, which it hurts.
I bet. I know. I've seen some. Yeah. Oh, who
You've
hasn't
had your fair share.
Who hasn't belly flopped? But I used to try to do flips and stuff off the bridge, swimming holes, and
oh, nice.
Yeah, you know when you screw something up.
Oh yeah, it hurts.
Yeah, I was gonna. Oh, also, so you said that was one thing that reminded me. You said a lot of divers are gymnasts.
Yep.
You said if you were going to get into CrossFit, you'd have to work on gymnastics, right?
Yeah. Like, unfortunately, like I grew up and I was a tomboy. And so like wearing like a leotard and like things like that, it was just like, no, I don't want to do gymnastics. Looking back, I wish I would have, because it definitely helps with skills for CrossFit and just like body awareness and everything. So
Yeah.
if there's one sport I could go back and do, it would be gymnastics.
Can you do handstands?
Yeah, I can do handstands, handstand walks, handstand push-ups. They're just not as good as they should be. So
We did a little push-up routine last night.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good one.
That was fun. That was fun. I'll add that into my routine.
One thing that you said last night was that you don't do a ton of pushing.
Yeah.
Right?
So in obstacle course racing, a lot of it's like upper body strength and it's mostly pulling. So going across rigs, like pull-up strength is more important than push. There's not a lot of push movements that we do. Maybe getting the sandbag up, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So in the gym, especially when I'm training for these races, it's more pull work than push. But push work is fun. Like I would love to bench more if it made sense, but
shooting a bow, I mean, it's weird. It's like a weird technique, but you are pushing with kind of one hand. And then I was telling you today, mostly it's like once you get that, then it's just holding with your back.
Right.
So, I mean, a lot of back work in the gym helps bow shooting. I'm just like the regular bench curl guy. Like,
which is great. I mean,
that
helps
it's something. It's something. I don't know if it's great.
Well, with the bow, you're kind of pushing and pulling. But yeah, it definitely uses such different muscles. So if I were to shoot more, which I plan to, I'm going to have to like work on those muscles a little bit in the gym, because the fatigue is real, like shoulders, everything.
Well, you stayed strong today. I was
trying.
At 111 yards, you can't, if you're fatigued, you're not going to hit that thing.
No.
And you were all around. I mean, we had a couple of groups. It was like all around it.
So close. I was like, that damn balloon's going down.
And then I think, was it the first arrow on that last group?
Yep. So I hit it at 100, and then we moved back. And I was like, it was the first arrow. So that felt good. I was like,
oh my God.
Sweet.
I love that. Well, I'm so excited to share that you have your own bow.
Yeah.
And you learn from the herd bull. I call Wayne, he hates this part, but like, a herd of elk, you got the bull that runs it.
Yeah.
I told Wayne he's the herd bull. So
I mean, he's phenomenal. Like I've been, like I told you, into a lot of bow shops in Colorado, and they're great, but he was phenomenal. Like just all the tips and tricks and just like the whole process. He was great.
You said you train some hunters, right?
Yeah. So I have some clients who backcountry hunt. And so I train them up to be able to, the endurance and then the strength to carry out the animals. So that's really fun.
Yeah, you said they're good guys.
Yeah, they're great guys, and they're going to love this.
Well, yeah, tell them I said what's
Yeah.
up. It's yeah, I mean, you appeal to a wide range of people, but yeah, I wouldn't think that backcountry hunters would be, but it's good to hear.
Well, I mean, they need to train too, right? And I
as
do
much as
strength and
anybody.
endurance, and that's what they need. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a good fit.
Yeah.
I think everybody in life needs strength and endurance. I think being strong, what was the saying we were saying?
Strength is never a weakness.
Strength is never a weakness.
Or I'd rather be dead than average.
Yeah, both of those. Yeah, that was the gym saying last night at
I
like
know.
10:30.
Thanks, Mark Bell. I know I was basically stalling, telling stories so I could we did, my normal 10 sets of 10. And I felt like I was being a fucking pussy, to be honest. So
Well, after that, I mean, the hot run and stuff, like the fatigue was real.
Yeah. I just thought that if I could buy myself a few more times with a few more stories, then maybe I could get a couple more
Yep.
reps. And then once it got down to those last ones, that's when it felt so good.
Savored it.
I love pushing to failure.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I
anybody else.
can see that.
I don't know. Yeah. It just feels good. It's like finally you put in all the other shit when you're fresh. I mean, you had a saying today. What was that saying?
No one cares what you can do fresh.
Right.
That was the saying for the Go Ruck Games.
Exactly.
Yeah, this last one. So that it's true. Like anybody, when they're fresh, mentally, physically, can do a lot. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It is when you get past that point where things start to go, the body starts to get fatigued, the mind starts to feel weak. That's what it matters.
Yeah. That's what I think.
And anything in life, even a competition or just like day-to-day stuff you have to deal with.
Yeah. So, yeah, when I can push through when everybody else would be fresh and it's all good, everybody's good. Because everybody likes to do 3 sets of 10
Yeah.
on bench or on whatever movement they're doing. Mm-hmm. And usually that 3 sets of 10 is like just starting to feel it.
Right.
You're just starting, and you're quitting now.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think of that, like last night when we got to those final ones, I'm like, finally, got 98 reps done, these two. And so we went slow and just felt them. God,
I did that
love
first, and you made me redo it. And I was like, all right, we'll savor it.
Felt good,
Yeah,
didn't
it
it?
did. Have you ever done the 10 by 10 with the back squat? So that's
Squats?
Yeah. So
Bro.
squats. We don't squat. Leg press. You do leg press.
You saw what I did for legs.
Yeah,
that was my
true.
leg workout.
Running up mountains, carrying weight, that is legs.
I will say,
100%.
we went up the super steep hill to start, and you were fucking grinding. I was like, oh my God, I'm so screwed today. Because after that, I was like, I am so screwed. But
I started off a little hot. I was like,
I know.
I had
Thank
no idea
God.
how far we were going, what distance, anything. So I was like, okay, maybe it's not that far. So we're just going to gun it up this mountain.
You did. It
We'll look cool, but
It looked cool. It looked good. It's like, but I was worried at that time. So, but you didn't know. I mean, how far did we run? What was it?
it's like 13,
Yeah.
13 and a half. Yeah.
90-degree day,
Yeah,
running
yeah.
along on asphalt for some of it.
Yeah, the highway section was pretty rough.
Couple
Yeah.
summits.
Yep.
You are,
Blast.
I mean, I'm not, like I said, I've said it many times, I'm not surprised, but it's, because I've followed you, I've seen it, and it's just like you're everything that you sell yourself
Well,
as.
I mean, it's easy to fake stuff too, but that's not my game. So it's always just about being authentic online, because I think that's people can tell.
I'm a poser.
And it helps. What? You
I'm
are
a
a poser.
poser.
Yeah.
I don't do that shit. I do that just for the camera. Didn't you know that?
I debated that. I was like, I wonder if this is going to be as hard or it's going to be more for the camera, because I've been in both kind of situations, and I'll tell you, like, you don't fake it. Like that was a hard training day. And I appreciate it. So nothing was done for the camera.
Don't be ruining it. We need those guys that say I'm a poser to still have a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
So don't screw it up.
Okay.
Because
I was kidding.
Without them talking shit about me, what would they have?
Right. Exactly.
I mean, so we need to let them be a little happier. So here's your brand new Hoyt. Look at this.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
She's sexy.
I know
I
she
love
is.
it.
And so we'd say, see that all black? You know what we call that? Or the kids call that? You're a kid. Murdered out.
Oh, Murdered Out.
Isn't that Murdered Out? All
I've been
black.
loving listening to all the sayings and phrases you've learned. It's so fun.
I'm old. I've been around. So when you're around for decades and decades and decades, you hear a lot of shit.
Yeah. I mean, you said some yesterday I haven't even heard of. And I was like, oh, wow.
No,
you're woke.
Fucking too
Is that
young.
right?
Too young. Thank you, Katie. I mean, I've had so much fun. I love training hard, and you love training hard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been just great experience. So thank you for coming. I'm happy that you're taking a bow home, or I'm
so
going to send it to
excited.
you actually, and we're going to do a bear hunt.
Yeah, I'm down. Thank you so much. This has been so much fun. I love to train hard, so this was like a perfect fit. It was a good day. Yesterday was a great day. Today was super fun with the bow. So thank you.
Well, thanks for coming. We'll do it again.
Yeah.
All right. Keep hammering.
Every step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use. Every comment, hate that makes my fuel. Gather up my energy and boom. I hear them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with. Giving my blood, so I am relentless. My fault, they want someone to blame. They sent their hate, it fuels my pace. I am Roy Tough, I am the change, the few endure. Feeling like Cam Hanes.